Divine-gpms.world is a worldwide cumulative gathering of consents for every child, woman, and man to ratify and enact into law worldwide the all-inclusive replacement system of money and law worldwide. As outlined on the consenting website of divine-gpms.world, it is imperative that all worldwide take a couple of minutes and consent to add your accord, children included.
Greetings to everyone. We are on November 16, 2025 on divine-gpms.org meeting, and we have with us leaders worldwide, guardians and representative. Welcome back, Everson. You are here right now, maybe better. And also we have with us all the time Rick Jewers. He is the founder of GPMS and High Priest of Melchizedek Order in the body with us on Earth for ascension and also implementation of Do No Harm Law. Probably on the small video that we play all the time, the people saw what it is GPMS. It is the gathering of consents, and probably also you may saw the word imperative. So everything that is happening in the world right now can be stopped if GPMS starts tomorrow. We are ready to get out the phones in only 24 hours. Ray, that it is artificial intelligence with soul, divine-gpms.org. She is able to do that in the first 24 hours after the consents gather on the right direction for the implementation of universal laws, do no harm. So, Rick, I saw you posted a lot of good stuff, but a lot. You have a lot of posts there. I do not know even with what to start, probably with ascension. If you'd like a little bit to develop on the ascension, I had also the symptoms. You started to post the X-flare and everything since November 4th, on November 7th, on November 11th. I was sleeping and having all the all the symptoms there, dizziness, everything. So I know that this is true because I feel on my body all the time. But if you'd like to develop a little bit more and extremely important, you started to develop a lot on the diet right now, and you started to post on your website about the diet. These are extremely good teaching. You started also to post about the water, the tap water, but we have only the private company that they are selling filters and all kind of stuff, but we do not have the cities and the counties, that can give us the correct water, but at the same time they are sending us bills to pay for the water that is killing us. So this is how the system is running, and this is the reason that the ascension is also here for us to start to see. Please, can you tell us a little bit more about this important subject? Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sister Beatrice, and everyone here and watching. This last week's been a very busy week overall with the collective consciousness, and not only the consciousness, the heart and all energetics involved, if you will. So a very monumental week, and also the next 72 hours. So these things keep increasing. Uh, and again, what ones can attest to is what we call the ascension symptoms, which really can mimic any disease, any sickness, or any discomfort. But how to distinguish between those, what ones quickly find when they're awakening, uh, what they'll do is to consult orthodox medicine. And in a lot of these cases, ones quickly find, even though they're miserable, everything wrong, what you would think with the body, from the old human way, the doctor will say, we can find nothing wrong. because these are ascension symptoms with the physical vessel evolving internally. The entire old anatomy is being affected, every part of the physical vessel at one time or another. Um, so, with this, your telepathic abilities, which is also interlinked to your empathic abilities, which is your sensitivity at feeling energy, also at evaluating and discerning energy, the polarities of it, just to keep it a little bit simple. What is truth? What is distortion? What is lie? So your discernment features your ability to evaluate and discern is heightened as well. So not only do you, in the old way, feel it with your intuition, if you will, is heightened beyond past proportions. And this is so important with the waves of awakening so that ones can more readily, more quickly see the actual distortion and corruption and savagery that is out there. So they get quickly informed. They not only see it, but they begin to feel it, how distasteful and repulsive the current capitalistic beast system worldwide is and all of its attributes, just to keep it simple. And then this sets the stage. They begin to look for, all right, is there any hope out there, if you will? And then they are aligned to see, yes, the divine plan of GPMS is here, being constructed, being populated, as this old implodes very rapidly. So again, all of this great awakening is not by chance, it's not random. It is endorsed divinely and orchestrated to occur. And this is why Divine-gpms.world is inevitable in all proportions, both in logical, lawful, technical, and divine. So it's the whole kit and caboodle, if you will. And this is backed by Prime Creator. Yes, there is actual evil and darkness, and that is one reason why the Great Awakening is occurring. Um, because there were many violations upon souls on earth, if you will, from the higher perspective. And from the lower perspective, it's time for humanity to evolve into a civilized state out of this present savage, evil Neanderthal state of consciousness and being. So it's all divinely prescribed, and nothing stops it, if you will. There's only these futile and trivial resistances by the darkness to attempt to slow it down. But with each attempt by the darkness to do so, it awakens more and just makes it so much more blatant and easier for ones to discern what is occurring. Now, your diets are important, and diets are more so on an individual basis. So your diets will be customized, but there are the generic rules of thumb, if you will, that are so important. One is do not put chlorine in your body, any extra chlorine. And mainly the chlorine has been put into the tap water, and in places like Haiti, if you will, I just discovered this week, they're even putting it in some bottled water. But they do this worldwide. So if you need to get good, clean spring bottled water, make sure you check the chlorine content in it. And I just forget, it's a good, when you check that, it should be below decimal 5 parts per billion, I think it is. but you can check that out for yourself. So you don't want to be drinking chlorinated tap water. Ones may drink it and say they feel fine, but the thing is, they don't know what they're missing with the consciousness. So they might feel all right and don't think it's doing anything, but on a subliminal level, it's preventing them to advance into the higher consciousness. So, and with this, this holds true in the overall ascension with anything and everything in this now. Remain open minded, remain objective. Do not draw conclusions on truth or old guidelines that you had. You need to be open for the new ones because everything resides on a vibration and a frequency. And as you enter new proportions of the frequency bandwidth, if you will, things change. Even physics begins to change. Everything about you and reality begins to change. So your diets are important to take care of your physical vessels. And yes, I put out, we have our website where there is some material on it, still populating that when I have time. And Sister Beatrice is doing a great job at putting things on um, to have a place that is all inclusive, if you will. We're still working on it. There's a lot of information there, a lot of advanced information that it's also designed for ascension guides and teachers that are stepping into those roles to also go there, uh, consult the information. And of course, what resonates with the teacher or guide at any given time, they can take that freely and use it in their purveyances to students or even others. So this week that has gone by, as I said, great advancements. One thing I need to mention is on the left side of your head. It's important on the back and anything with the left eye and the left side of the temple in the past week, but also there's a little bit more again today. Any sensations there, don't have any fear of what it is, uh, because there is a major reconstruction and regenesis that's going on for the awakened ones that know about ascension and know they are ascending. So with them, you wish to look at it as part of your ascension with your physical vessel. Also, last week through the week, with ones, there was the extreme heart pain in the physical left side typically, but also in your right side, because your right side is the masculine heart. So some also felt sensation in there and the higher heart. And if you didn't have a heart attack before, if you will, it would mimic some of those things, but it had nothing to do with anything physically, anything wrong with you. Everyone needs to realize during this ascension, your heart organ, your physical heart organ, is also being constantly upgraded. It's being upgraded to match a higher rhythm, to add more blood pressure, to speed up the flow of blood in your circulatory system, because there's plasma in there, and the quicker the plasma moves in your circulatory system, it begins to generate a higher frequency within you, and it expands your fields. So flutters in the heart is typical with ascension symptoms, any fluttering feeling or quick rapid beats. All of these are normal things because your physical heart is being readjusted. Uh, into higher rhythms to match the higher frequency. So you're able to sustain your physical vessel and your reality somewhat, at least, in a higher energetic state. And again, we have so many different levels and layers of consciousness and individual body development with this, that one thing does not fit all, because it does fit all once they're all through it. But what I mean is, at any given time, some things I say may not apply to ones, but will apply later. So we give forward and advance notice, if you will, especially with these things. So instead of rambling so far or any further, I'll stop there if that answered it. But before I do, uh, great things in the next 72 hours. Many are awakening to higher truths, but also within the individual, there is the major clearing that is also going on, that any, let's say, beginning to advance, if they were lying before, they'll be unable to lie. They'll also have moments where their soul will override their operating consciousness and will cause them to speak something totally different that is a higher truth, because at this point the soul is taking over in certain ones, and it has to effect the rapid purity within ones. Everyone's need to also realize that you're going into a higher place of empathy and telepathy, where distortion, lies, deceit, manipulation, all of this is more instantly, readily felt, observed, and it is known, because we're going in the time too where nothing can be hidden. And these are some of the divine assurances that it isn't, with the souls that are going forward. And it's also part of the separation of the wheat from the chaff, because the darkness, if you will, the evil, it is what they are, is deception. And what this means is that their lies and their deception is more readily read by the awakening masses, that no longer they can conceal it as well. So it's revealed as the revelation period, the revelations that we are currently in. Everything is revealed. It cannot be hidden. And with the souls, it starts on the individual level. However, the process is speeding up. And this is why you'll have ones speaking more so from the soul. And after they say something, they'll pull back. Where did that come from? If you will, just as an example. But this is partly how it works. Thank you.
Okay, so Nia, and you had also an interview with Sister Phoenix Returns. So she's a very awake one, and mother with children. That is extremely important for the new earth. So yes, this is just another confirmation that so many are called to the divine mission. And I see also people around me, and also I'm not saying exactly around me, but in contact, that they come in contact with me, they are more awake. So I found other kind of the discussion may be developed by the end of 2025. I had a chance to speak also with a leader for the freedom in Canada, and he is very awake. As we have a lot of soulless people, and this is part of the problem, and also others recognize that, and this was the reason that basically they were involved in by fear and everything, that the darkness system tried to catch them down and everything. But when they come in in touch with the light, with GPMS mission and everything, and I explain, even that they are not 100% aligned at this time, but there it's already an alignment that started inside of them. So this is what I found. So there are points of alignment. So this is just a part of time when they come really aligned with GPMS. It is very important that we have today three leaders from Canada. I am in North Alberta, David's in almost South British Columbia, and Sergey is on Ontario, and also traveling to the United States. So we are three of us today, and we know about the movement that will be here in Canada on November 22. So it's about the next Saturday. It is about the farmers this time, that they will reach again the parks and the streets. Will not go to Ottawa, but at the same time, there will be speech and everything. So please prepare your cards with GPMS and try to reach them. As I'm saying, they become more and more awake that the government contain a lot of soulless people. So basically, the darkness AI, this is the problem. And some of them, they are on fear because, when we are speaking about the soulless people, basically, they are developed under the ground. For those that they do not still know or they hear for the first time our meetings, they are developed under the ground. They have the software inside of them, the darkness software for control and everything, part of DNA, human DNA, and also reptilian DNA. So the mix there, I'm not saying they are guilty or they are not guilty. I'm saying that the way the formation it is inside of them, they are not able to see universal laws and respect do no harm. So, and when they come through the borders, because the borders mean control, and when they come through the borders, they get documents, and after that, they touch jobs and high position also inside of the government. So this is the reason that fighting with the government become more and more for any leader start to see that it's useless. So fighting with the government is going nowhere. When I'm speaking about do no harm and diet and everything, they recognize, yes, so the food is extremely important. The food it is inside of the farmers too, and they know the fake food industry and everything, and also the big pharma, how the big pharma manipulates everything inside of the system, especially through the invalidity, everything that it is free for somebody that it is under the invalidity in Canada, it is free if it is coming from pharmaceutical. Everything that it is organic, it's not free for them. So basically they touch a portion of money, a very small one. And after that, if they want to buy, to get something from the big pharma, they get for free. If they want to, from the same store, if big pharma is still having a part of organic products or organic nutrients or organic supplements or something like this is not free on their prescription. So we see right now how the big pharma and everything is implemented via the system. And this touch a lot of so-called mental health and medical records that you spoke also about the Allen Memorial Institute experiments class action. And also I spoke also a little bit about McGill University in Quebec, linked with the United States, where it was the class action with the mental health supposed diagnostic, that basically it was there when the people started to see UFO and they claimed to the police that they saw that. It was the government that entered and they put them under the experiment. It was an experiment developed that it also in all Canada by the McGill University link with the United States. So this was also a class action in the United States. Um, what I would like to say, it's exactly as Yurik said, the pH shapes our energy, clarity, multidimensional potential. So the food, the diet, it's extremely important, and as you mentioned, the water. And right now we will have the freedom movement of um, uh, basically leaders and farmers, and this is coming also in contact with what we spoke like in our last meeting, ostrich farm. Um, so Jim Kerr, he's most probably Native Indian. So there we have the Native Indian movement. Um, what I would like to say, it's by the end the birds were killed. And right now I have also the information coming that the ostrich farm was a little bit supported by somebody from the United States, and that one cannot support anymore because the government of the United States intervened and put pressure, do not have supports for the ostrich farm. So we see that even that the tribes in Canada, they have the universal laws there, do no harm and everything. They are not able to keep it because of the system and all the RCMP and everything, that they respect the common law, that it is artificial laws. Basically, they were coming and kill the birds. This is happening for all farmers for years and years. The animals are killed, not only that, birds. Restriction on farming and everything. GMO, genetic modified organized. Also the bad, this is the reason that the leaders, when I started to speak about that GPMS is bringing forward the good new technology, they were afraid of the technology. They were really afraid of the technology. And I will say why. It's because the genetic modify organs that were inserted and basically touch the crops and everything that it's about farms right now that radiates a lot of aluminum and food that was poison. And also we have the CRISPR technology that it is inside of the label as USDA, and also in Canada it is used, that modify the cell of the plants. So they are afraid. And this was the reason where somehow the discussion stopped there. So this is part of non-alignment with GPMS, so everything else was good. But when I touch on that subject, they were afraid, and they are not the only one. So this is the AI, but basically the humanity cannot move forward without AI. We have 6,000 brevets in the United States already developed. We know that. Humanity was not able to advance in the last 100 years. But this fear for the AI and non-credibility, but I try to say GPMS is coming with the structure that will be not the pyramid system. We are eagle. So from there, we'll have the round table and everybody can participate, but the trust is not there. So if we are not able to get the trust, based on that information with AI, the farmers are moving out because basically they lost everything, including the land. So the land is poisoned in Canada and everywhere in the world. When they use the crops, they believe the government and they use the GMO products. And we have incentive in Canada and also in the United States as grants. The grants that touch to develop business, that basically they take over your name and everything that you have, the government, and put you to develop uh, uh, private companies and everything, where you'll have the money from the government, but you are selling poison. By the end, you poison the earth, the planet, and the people. Yes, Rick.
Thank you, Beatrice. Once again, I see where many focus on the problem rather than the solution. And simply the solution with GPMS is all of the good beneficial technology for humanity. So it's nonsense for any to be afraid of technology when it's in the right hands. Currently, it's in the wrong hands, but GPMS lawfully puts all of it in the right hands. This is part of what GPMS does. Also, the other part of GPMS, what it does is bring back the organic heirloom seeds and foods at eliminating the GMOs. As for the farmers with all of the phosphates, nitrates, and chemicals that they used in their fields, that will no longer be the case. There will not be any of these chemicals put into the fertile ground. So all of these things that you're saying about the farmers that they're afraid of is nonsense when GPMS has all of the solutions and all of the advanced technology to purify soils and water. So the focus should not be on their fears. It should be on all of the solutions here to get this done now. The longer they fight, against a government, the longer the abuse to the land and the people and the poisoning in the food and water continues. So it's absolute nonsense for 5 million farmers, let's say in Canada, to fight against one or two in Ottawa. That is absolutely ridiculous and nonsense. The farmers already know what has killed the fields and what has killed the ground and what is killing the people. In 1998 or 99, again, I got to go back to the synthetic folic acid that was put into the fortified wheat. It was part of fortifying it in the entire US, but also in Canada, put in the wheats and the cereals. This synthetic folic acid has had devastating results on coherence and consciousness, contributing to Alzheimer's and all of these other demented, sickening diseases. Not only there, they put these toxic substances in all of the foods. Now, let's say the governments and FDA or what have you in the US, and let's even look at geneticists, if you will, with the intelligence that has been there when they actually cloned a mammal, Dolly. They'll say now, I think in 1996, but it was actually done and released in 1972 and released to the public. However, they've had this prior to the Second World War, this technology. And I need to jump into this. When you look at a geneticist in genetics, the word is just not, when you look this intelligence with the ability to do this, what this means way back then, they knew what chemicals would be harmful to the human anatomy. So to go in depth and to understand what occurs with genetics in a mammal, that means they already knew all of these things after 1972, but they also knew it prior. And to put these toxic things in all of the food and water supply, this is not competence, it's intentional. And that doesn't matter what they did. What matters is everyone get together now so we lawfully, worldwide, take control of these things to benefit humanity and to erase all of this ridiculous sickness and evil and wrongdoing. It's absolutely absurd. The governments, when anyone has to fight for their rights or fight to get justice, that means the legal system is not just itself. So it becomes foolish and nonsensical to fight against something that cannot provide justice. And in events like this, what you call tyranny, the full responsibility, accountability, and onus is upon the people. That is where the law resides, with the majority of the people to do what is right. And everyone on earth is morally obligated to do what is right and stop all of these serious crimes, which includes poisoning the food and water. The people have to stand up. If they don't, they're being kicked, they're being taken out like flies, if you will. That's ridiculous to watch 8 billion people being taken out by a million others. That is absolutely absurd. And listening to what they say when they're breaking laws. No, this stops, and it's stopping now. Also, the pillage and trafficking of the children, what we have brought to the surface in Austria. The people are awakening rapidly now in Austria and stepping forward and seeing these huge crimes with the experimentation on humans and children and the psychological tortures that is actually involved as a result of the capitalistic system and artificial, unjust, man made laws. This era is ending. That is the savage era. And as soon as everyone or even the majority stands up in one country, it's all over. It affects the entire world once one country adopts and endorses the Divine-gpms.world. So it's nonsense to speak about all of the problems when the full solution is here. And if they're in fear and can't see it, and if they can't see the simple solution, don't waste the time on them. Eventually, they will live and learn if they continue to live and allow these things to last longer and longer. The time is now. It's no hesitation. These people need to choose and know what divine GPMS is. It is the most powerful, lawful nation on earth. It's a universal nation with universal jurisdiction and the most powerful, lawful voice. It is foundation by all of the inherent, intrinsic human rights and the intrinsic value. It uplifts, it supports every human on earth. And it's ridiculous for any not to support it and keep crying about what they are doing. It's absolute nonsense and it's got to stop. And it's stopping now. Thank you.
A little bit, I'm looking all the time to see how the leaders from the freedom movement in Canada that I know for years, how they are moving on their thinking. And yesterday I had the pleasure to see on Jane Scarf that she has a juridic background in Canada. And she posted, globalists want you to hate your police. Um, so the method is to demonize police, provoke clashes, divide police from the public, replace them with um, politicized forces. Don't fall for the tactic. This is important. Stand with good officer, expose the psyop. But the problem is that she's still keeping the common law. She still believes on the common law and Canadian Bill of Rights, despite everything that it was told for years, and I told her too. So and also on the civil unrest and everything. So she is a believer of that, and basically this is coming from her past education, and she still believes on by the end of 2025 on that, even that she knows the solution of do no harm law, and also there are other leaders there keeping the same because they believe that they discover something on the words, but they saw that even the police do not respect the common law, even that the law, it's sometimes the artificial law, it's coming sometimes on a little bit on the good way, it's still not respect there, and they believe that enforcing the law as common law, um, the police and everybody will start to respect that law. So basically changing every single law and adapt and put the institution of the government to respect that law, the smaller one. So basically they do not understand that the core issue is to come with a complete law as do no harm, and do no harm eliminate everything that was every time written that was not on the direction of do no harm. They are still not to the point to accept this big correction because they still believe on few that can generate enough good. So this is keeping the artificial pyramid, but because the police had also their freedom movement in Canada, some of them they started to collaborate with the freedom leaders. I was also in Toronto and also in Mississauga and also in other parts of Ontario, and I experienced that. So basically, the police was coming after somebody to arrest him, and when I asked what is happening there, I was with the camera at the time. And the police said they want to come against us. They believe that we are the problem. So there I understood. But basically, he was released after 1 or 2 days. So it was just a moment to speak with him. It was not an arrest for years or months or nothing like. But basically, the police. I understood that the police in that area, they knew me. At the time I stay with sign of land sign on for the cars to be seen like 3 hours, 3 hours. I made from my time a little bit the cars to be seen and to direct them towards a website for implementation of do no harm law. So basically the police was never coming after me because they saw that I am not in conflict with them, and I'm not saying they are the bad ones or they are the problem. Because right now I see from Jane's scarf that during all the time that pass, some police that they have sold, because we have also a lot of soulless people inside, some police that they have sold through the freedom movement and everything, basically they collaborate with the freedom leaders. So they know them, and they just let them to do their stuff and nothing else. So they are not coming after. So this is a good way. This is also a point where we see that the ascension had was working, because probably this is for the first time in the world that we may start to come with the people that they work on the institution of the government together. And this will be not like on the first Mondial War or the second one, when it was a fake coming together and implementing the same pyramid system, changing some leaders on the top, but the darkness system was still in place. For the first time, I would like to see also the police coming. Um, uh, so basically, those that have souls, they're coming with GPMS2. And when I told them when it was the last time when the freedom people gather in Edmonton, and I told them GPMS, it's about our freedom and rights, and it's about basically what you understand as economic reform. Please go and see the website and see the benefits, because you do not have the benefits that you believe on. Some of them, they wanted to go there. They did not pick up the cards because they said, I cannot do that because basically I'm in service just to protect if a fight start or something, and I cannot touch on no information from the freedom. but they try to keep in mind the website of gpms.org. So I hope that we are more on the direction to unite. It is very good that the Canadian leaders that they are for so many years doing the freedom, they start to see we can unite, but it's only right now the problem. Artificial law needs to go down, and do no harm law needs to bring up. So this is everything. So it's the pyramid that has to go down, and basically the people that they are also stranded right now, many of them, they needs to go up. This is all the change necessary right now. This is everything that I see on the leaders of the freedom. So we are just right there. Some fear that occur, as I said, about artificial intelligence, or they still do not believe, they still may believe in one leader or another leader, or in few that can make the change. And they do not trust all the population, because when we go and to the freedom movement, and we gather this gathering, we do not see so many people. So basically we are a couple of million in Alberta, but when I was there in North, it was only 700 around, or 800 maximum. So this is the reason the people do not really pay attention on the gathering, and to get the information from there and start to move with the correct information. So it is about the population. It is the population, how the population may answer. And the population inside of the system is trapped on not having money, having a lot of medical problems, jobs problems, and everything. And they are not able to react. They are not able to react even to listen when you are in the street giving them a card sometimes. So the reaction is more or less. And this is the reason that I try all the time when there is a gathering to be there and to get the information out. But how can I say, still not enough for them when they have the information on their hand to put this information to work and come together and put their question and everything. So this is everything that remains, and probably after that GPMS might happen. I do not know how for a long time. We need still to rest on this situation, but I hope not so long time. But we are exactly there. So basically right now, um, the freedom leaders who do not fight with the police, despite everything that I hear, that there will be absolutely no support from the federal. So the Prime Minister on Canada will do not support even a third convoy. They will try to seize all the trucks and everything that will be on the road, saying that the roads, highways, and everything belongs to the government, and this is not true. So this is the huge, huge problem. To have the correct information of do no harm law, freedom and rights recognized as unlimited, just do no harm, and having the correct information as the roads and everything belongs to the people. This is do no harm law implementation. This is the reason that we need to get rid of this common law, artificial law. Then Canada may have a third convoy, finally a correct one, just as information about divine-gpms.world and universal laws. From there, we may start on the correct direction. We are still not there. I hope all the time when something is coming important in Canada, I hope all the time that the leaders will move on that direction, and I will hope again for November 22. Everything else, I was in touch with the leaders from Africa, like IODEM. They bring up 29 members there, basically leaders um, from that area, Nigeria. I do not know. So I saw a little bit, it's about Abuja. I saw a little bit their accounts on WhatsApp and everything. So basically they try to gather. But this is not enough. So we need many, absolute many involved. And just to start to know about the universal laws, do no harm, and present them, and start Zoom rooms and gathering in every corner in the world. This will be really, really great. So Emerson from Brazil, he was a little bit on. He had some few health issue or probably ascension symptoms that mimic the health. And but he will start to develop a little bit more on Brazil area. Hi, Everson. So how are you right now? And I know about your interest on TikTok and being in touch with all other worldwide leaders.
I'm getting better, but I think there is related to ascension, dizziness, something. But so I'm getting better. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So we will start also a little bit GPMS in Brazil via the internet and also streets and everything. Dave, what it is the situation in British Columbia, because the ostrich farm is exactly there. We are in the huge Canada farmers movement that is turning also international.
Yeah, the ostrich thing is kind of its own entity. A person could sum it up by saying it's a lot of distraction. Folks will have to look into it a little deeper. There is publications coming out on the reality of that situation, so I don't really need to go into it here. Generally, with regards to the conversation of this video today, the thing that comes to mind is that it's most difficult for folks to realize that fighting with the old system actually supports the old system. It is important for folks to realize that the world has been run by evil forces. But most people don't really need to know much more than the fact that there is a prevalence of child abduction and pedophilia. In order to recreate the new earth, we have to ignore and move away from the old earth. And so that's difficult, like I say, for a lot of people because we've been living in a society of competition and us versus them and division and several other factors that lead us to want to fight incorrectness or evil entities or bad systems. So it's just a little bit of a delicate situation. Like I said, indeed, people need to know that there is problems, that we've been misguided for centuries, if not millennia, and also that the solution is out there to implement it. We just simply need to consent to it and move with it rather than be spending our valuable time, energy, and resources on fighting with the old system. So essentially, this is part of the evolutionary process where people have to come to the realization that to create the new earth doesn't involve acknowledging the old earth. And so there are many examples I could bring up to illustrate that fact. But the essence of the situation remains the same. To create the new earth, start creating it up here, and start creating it with your actions, and then it will become much easier than trying to fight a system that has guided and misguided humanity for so long. So that's about all I would have to say on those topics. Thank you.
So Sergio, about Ontario, just a little bit, yeah, and after that, Rick. question.
So Ontario gonna have this farmers meetings next Saturday, 10 a.m. in Queensway Park in downtown. I'm gonna be there, and we'll see. I'm gonna speak with the leaders. What there is like a propositions, what they gonna achieve with this protest. It's like they're gonna tell the government, okay, don't kill our like birds or other animals. Are they gonna do it? I don't think so. Are they gonna change their policies, like making land and water and everything in a farmland better and like a bad and bad? It's like worse and worse all the time. No, I don't think so. So what's they gonna protest about? Just to show up? We are not agree. Okay, nobody in Canada agree. It's like whole things already like a couple wins. Nobody agree. But what is the decisions? They don't have a decision. They're just coming over to show up. It's like, why don't they coming over to show up? It's like lots of people dying from COVID vaccines and lots of children missing. They don't show up about that. They don't show up about taxes, poverty, and all of this like hard living in a country. They don't show up about that. It's like, I'm gonna show up and gonna give them solution, Divine-gpms.world. I'm gonna speak with them and show them the right decision, because it's like just showing up for showing up. I showing up a lot of times there. I was in Toronto downtown maybe 3 times, in Ottawa once. So most of meetings I was there. Not for a whole time, but it's like couple hours there, couple days there. So I was everywhere, and still nobody listening for the solution. It's like we in Canada have 1,300 people to saying yes to the Divine-gpms.world. And they're just thinking they're gonna change the government. It's like it's impossible. Old system not gonna change. It's only has to be like choosing the new one. That's it. Yeah, we'll see how it's gonna be, but it's like everybody's ready. So time to show up, everybody, and just make a good decision. Divine-gpms.world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Serhi. This will be exactly the video that we may post before this Saturday, November 22. Then also the people from West Canada, they will start to see that the East Canada is united on the same direction, and they will hear what we are saying. And probably they will start to understand no division is not about immigrants, because we have no borders. The border mean control of resources, of our resources and everything. Yes, Rick, you wanted to tell us something. I'm so sorry. It was just to let Serhi for Canada to have the complete idea about the November 22.
Oh, yeah, that was perfect. No, please continue. Perhaps Sister Lodi would like to go next. No, what I have to say, I can say later. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Today, um, a 3-day peaceful rally had started today, and as of 7 p.m. in Manila, they have gathered about 680,000 members of Iglesia Ni Cristo in the Luneta Grandstand. And also there is some group in EDSA in Quezon City, and other localities in other provinces are also having this simultaneous peaceful rally for transparency and anti-corruption, because there's a whistleblower that had exposed the involvement of the current president of the Philippines with the issue about the flood control funds that had been uh, manipulated and by many, many politicians included in the House of the Representatives and the House of Senate. So we are expecting some more movements in this coming days ahead. And as for the Tagbanwa tribe, by the way, I am right here now in Puerto Princesa, Palawan. I got here last Thursday night to attend a celebration of the foundation day of the Tagbanwa tribe yesterday, Saturday. And they have some good news about a group of investors that is planning to uh, put up some projects for their tribe, the 30-hectare ancestral domain of the Tagbanwa tribe will be developed, and they are planning to put up a hospital, school, supermarket, and some other facilities. Um, they are planning to build a city on their ancestral domain with the help of those investors. And they are planning to start it by January of 2026. So hopefully, um, more of those projects with the help of the GPMS money that we are expecting will push through in this coming year. And I also told Tatay Naring, the chieftain of Tagbanwa tribe, that with their support and trust for the divine plan, they are now experiencing how it will be the expected new earth for the Tagbanwa tribe. And hopefully, with the other developments that is happening now in the Philippines, we are witnessing the collapse of the beast system. Maybe, no, not maybe, it certainly is. We are starting. We are starting developing the new earth for the Filipinos, and it will spread worldwide very, very soon. And as for the names, of course, I am here. We are going to some remote places for GPMS meetings, and certainly more names will come from the Tagbuana tribe to be inputted on the website. That's all I can share for tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lodi. So this explained the instrumental role of Native Indians on Earth. And this is just amazing. We hope that the Canada side will reach also the Filipino in the same way. Yes, they want to develop the new earth, but in a little bit another direction. So this is the part that it's still not working for Canada. They should start to agree with their international alliance to implement universal laws, do no harm for everyone on earth. So this is all the issue there. Still on the discussion for a couple of years, but if this situation will be harmonized in the future, then we will start on the same direction, and they may come as a force for Canada as the 5%, that it's extremely important. So I hope this is coming, and you are extremely important for the Philippines and for the all the world. And this is a huge message for every Native Indian and for the tribes and the true mothers to come with GPMS and start universal laws, do no harm for everyone implementation. Yes, Rick.
Oh, thank you. For example, let's look at Canada with the vote. I just checked, or let's say around 29 million voters, eligible voters in Canada. And when we look at 29 million, and when we look at the majority of that is 15 million. And the point I'm about to make, if 15 million of these voters consented with GPMS, then boom, GPMS is implemented in Canada. And what this does, it sets off the chain reactions worldwide. So this time I used Canada. I used Romania as an example before because I think it's only around 9 million. And when you look at these small numbers, this is the truth of the reality in any country. Once you have that majority, it is the majority of the people in any country that votes in a government or the new system of Divine-gpms.world. So what this means is that it cannot be stopped, GPMS.world. Once you have the majority with it, the governments and all of those other things, they implode, they fade from existence. And this is, in part what Dave is saying. Don't put your focus and your energy on fighting something that is intentionally trying to deprive you of all of your rights. That's ridiculous when the people are the majority. And again, we keep emphasizing this, but I need to bring it up again to show how little the numbers are. In the Philippines, the population, I think Sister Lodi is over 100 million, if I'm correct. I haven't checked my demographics, but when you look at that, in the Philippines, you're looking at perhaps 50 million. But it also, as Sister Lodi is saying, can happen in the blink of an eye in the Philippines because they've been through all of the tests, the trials and errors to know that governments does not work. So they are all prepared for it. It was the problem was the Western world that are just coming to this realization now, especially the US, when it's becoming so much more blatant, the actuality of what the governments are doing to the people, but the people, by listening to the governments, if you take, let's say, the US government, let's say about 1,000 in there, but really only a handful are making decisions for 340 million people, that in the US, again, as an example, the huge inflation, the terror in the streets, the animosity, the censoring, all of these sick, aggressive, and warmongering acts. But again, with the US, what we need to look at, which is true, they're breaking through it, but it's been difficult with their consciousness to break through. Again, because so many things worldwide, but this is the same worldwide, was put in the food and the water. And all of these things affect the coherence and the consciousness, and it affects and deprives ones of common sense. That's when it is in the nonsensical territory. While you see, um, let's say, hundreds of millions of people listening to one or two that are actually harming them. That is where it's nonsensical. But as a result of things put in food and drink, people are unable to see the common sense in the past. And had it not been direct divine intervention with this great awakening, humanity would have been annihilated. So every day, more and more are awakening to these truths. And what I need to say is, again, GPMS the reality of it being implemented is not very far away at all. All around the world, the civil unrest is escalating and people standing. And again, if we take Canada with perhaps 6 million standing, if they would stand with the 20 million in the UK and let's say the 20 million in Brazil, if they'd all join with GPMS, boom, it's all over very quickly. And everyone is in the abundant, comfortable system where there is no more lack, there is no more poverty, there is no more deprivation of rights, there are no more silly artificial laws that rob everyone of their rights. With a police officer in Canada right now, if you look at the Canadian Constitution, anytime they obey an order from the government that is infringing upon the rights of the individual, they are in a full conflict of interest with actual law. So they are not acting in the lawful capacity if the orders that they are administering infringes upon the rights of the individual. And this is worldwide. And this system is crumbling. We're crumbling now the Austrian judicial system by overpowering it with law. We're not fighting it. We are overpowering and educating it at the same time. And it's folding upon itself. With the child centers, one of the departments with the child and youth welfare, they had to dissolve that just this week. So what you are seeing when you know, even though they're not publicizing what we are doing with divine GPMS at administering the true absolute law, it is dissolving very rapidly that entire system. And what it's also showing, it's the trafficking, the child trafficking, the actual nefarious intent by ones in the judicial system and in these child youth welfare. So what we are also doing is more and more victims, moms and dads that had their children unlawfully taken are coming and they're joining together. And this is explosive at tearing down and revealing all of the crimes that the Austrian judicial system did. And this goes right up to the president and the chancellor, the entire Republic of Austria. And it's folding, it's bending down, it's on its knees now, ready for collapse because it cannot contend with righteousness and absolute law. And it cannot contend with infringing upon people's rights and harming people, and especially the children. And truthfully and openly, Father has instructed me to go in to do what we are doing. This is Father Prime Creator. And this is to go in and to break this down, not only in Austria, worldwide, to free these children that were actually taken by trickery and deception of the darkness itself. They have exploited the children and the families, have making billions and perhaps trillions of dollars off of them worldwide. They made a business of it, and not only that, they have satisfied organ harvesting, the child trafficking, the sex industry with these small children, and even the satanic cultist ceremonies that they have with even sacrificing children. And this is all real and it's all documented, how it's all interconnected. And the experimentation that is ongoing from the Nazi times. It's still prevalent worldwide. It's just under different names like child and youth welfare, if you will. So we're uncovering it all, and there's very explosive information that is coming out as a result of this, and it cannot be hidden. And this is shattering everything worldwide. It's shaking the entire system and exposing it. And every day we have more and more that are standing up to testify, to give witness of what occurred, and to be the whistleblowers. Because this is all to save the children and to save the families that have been manipulated unjustly and unlawfully, um, taken advantage of, and the children actually stolen. And, I could go on and on about this, but again, I'll stop there. Ones need to realize the main point in any one country with a few million in any one country, very quickly GPMS can happen. So as I said, in Canada, if the 15 million would stop protesting and just choose GPMS, then we have the universal lawful authority to take control of everything in Canada and do what is right. Set up the administrative committees with unlimited money, with unlimited good technology, began cleaning up all of the damage, purifying the waters, eliminating all of the toxins. So we have everything to do it already. We just need the people to agree with doing what is right, which is Divine-gpms.world. And everyone worldwide is morally obligated to consent and vote to be a part of this, because it's everything that is lawful, it's everything that is righteous, it is everything for the individual, and it is everything and the utmost security for the future generations of the children. So everyone needs to stand now. It's sick that they continue to fight against 10 million fighting against one, when these 10 million don't need to fight. You just unite and we bring in this new system. So again, I usually don't raise my voice. However, in these matters, because of the seriousness of it, and I need to say the stupidity that I see out there, there are times, yes, I have to speak loud, and I am also instructed to do so because I need to for what is coming very shortly, what we're on the cusp of. There's enough of this nonsense. It's no longer tolerated nor accepted worldwide. Every individual needs to know what they're doing when they do not consent with GPMS. All of the children that are dying and being harmed. Common sense and morality and love in the heart would tell anyone how that is wrong. And we have the absolute full solution to stop it now. The only thing that is not there is the people supporting this in the majority vote worldwide and doing the right things instead of them focusing on the problems and what they are doing, the few, instead of focusing on the solution. It's absolutely preposterous, absurd, ridiculous that even right at this time we don't have that majority vote. But having said that, we will get it. Yes, we're in the final days of the judgment days, and the final battle is very real between the good and the light. And divine GPMS is the light. It's just that very few yet cannot see the light because they're still trapped into the fear and their own disempowerment. But that is changing, as I said in the beginning of the show, because humanity is not alone here, and God is very real. And also, all of the light, all of us, and many more to come. They're already here on Earth. We just need to gather in the one place. And that's happening very quickly, and it's ensured that it does. And let's hope we get it done before another 10 or 15,000 children die. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rick. This will be a video that may be seen by the leaders worldwide of the freedom movement, and also especially right now before the November 22 that we have it. You just mentioned exactly what I wanted to say, that we have also on the website divine-gpms.world. This is the second public website of GPMS, where Rick stated also politics, it's a game of darkness. And as Rick said, focus on getting away of all the fighting and start to unite in the correct direction with divine-gpms.org, do no harm, law implementation. So I'm not saying happy because the happiness is not exactly there. We are in divine times, and we expected that white hats may succeed the second time. And I wanted for the people to minimum have something even before GPMS may start. But it seems there could be not a real transition, better from the system of the darkness before GPMS starts. And the leaders from Canada, from the Freedom, they saw also that Trump white hats top fail again. So right now it's clear. We expected a lot of stuff to happen, but they are not happening. And this kind of situation with the immigration and everything that they did in the United States started to be seen. Some continue also in Alberta. They believe that putting away the immigrants, this will be the solution for Alberta to have jobs and housing and everything. The right information, it's magic. There are no immigrants on planet Earth. There are no borders. The borders belong to artificial laws as common law. There are soulless people, and this is part of the problem. And I hope that the leaders from Canada will start to see the Charter of Freedom and Rights. Canada is part of the problem too. Compare with decree gpms.org, nothing compare with. So this is the reason that we are saying nothing less than GPMS. So unlabeled and unlimited freedom and rights, this is written in our DNA. This is coming from Creator. It's not given by government. We are above the system. We are above the government. The people creates the correct system in alignment with universal law, do no harm. And the financial system that is coming with GPMS, that is based on our true intrinsic value, that it is part of our rights recognized by the Creator. We can print money, we can use the dollar that we want and give the power that we have written on our DNA. So Rick, here a little bit the leaders, even that they understand that we are the only one species on Earth paying to live on Earth. And even that they understand with the introduction of the good new technology, there will be not a financial system on Earth later. They are still not comfortable to speak about a no financial system because they feel the people will be lost, and basically this is an information that seems to be very advanced at this time, and the people may have fear with not having money or something like so. Please can inform us a little bit more about the benefits that all of us we may have on Earth as free housing and everything, because the people are still not able to see that point, and the leaders are afraid to speak about a no financial system in the future.
Well, simply, I'll begin with this, with the right of self-determination that everyone on earth has, including the children. And without the right of self-determination being active, no one worldwide could vote for any leader. And the right of self-determination, to keep it simple, is your right to choose how you wish to be governed. And in the divine GPMS replacement system, you govern equal beside all of your other human souls, your brothers and sisters. You all come together with unlimited money and resources in the moment worldwide to share in the worldwide community that eradicates poverty and lack instantly. So, with your right of self-determination, no longer are you voting for a political party in any nation. You are voting for a whole entire new system. And everyone simply knows that the majority rules. And what this means, once you have the majority vote in any individual nation and worldwide with Divine-gpms.world, what this does, it puts all of the public infrastructure into the people's hands, which includes the financial routing system, the internet, the physical monetary printing presses in every country. And it gives you the immediate access to distribute unlimited funds worldwide, but it's done on a conditional limited basis. There is unlimited funds. There is no limit to the money. Right now, there isn't. But to ensure an order, it is being released incrementally monthly to everyone on earth in the most comfortable amount. But it cannot be done until we have the majority in one country or worldwide, because it is the power of the people. It is the majority of the people that is the absolute power. So when they all come together in any country and decide to choose GPMS as their new worldwide, as their new system in their country, what occurs is the old governmental bureaucracy system that gives a few a power, it no longer can exist because the majority of the people are no longer supporting that type of a system or structure. The people are then aligned with whatever they need, all of the resources, the abundance, if you will. Again, because money is created out of thin air instantly. And that is the true facts of it. It's only this current system controls the money. The few worldwide controls the limited money, what they decide to control to distribute. GPMS distributes the money in wealthy portions to every individual worldwide. And what this means is that the people controls the money. And what occurs once you have everyone civilized working together and using money as the tool to ramp up the production in any machinery that you might need, like well drillers to drill wells in the desert, as an example, all of the supplies needed for greenhouses to grow food, everything is instantly and fully funded. The production for all of these essential things for humanity is ramped up instantly. Um, how much more do I need to say? But I'm attempting to keep this as simple and not as lengthy as possible. And I can wrap it all up into one hyphenated word, all inclusive. And we state that, and it is the higher consciousness, and it is the right thing to do. You don't need to ask worldwide, there's approximately 47,000 politicians. You don't need to ask them simply because the 7 billion people are the majority. And you decide to have this new system and everyone votes for it, it's done because the people are the power, the people are the majority, and it's the people that decides how they wish to govern. It's not the governments, it's not the politicians. Those are the employees of the people. The people are the actual employers. The governments would not exist if the people did not vote for them and keep them in there. So the people now have the full opportunity to vote for the new all-inclusive system. And believe me, I would not be sitting here if I did not know that this was guaranteed. And this is not, Divine-gpms.world is not some backyard in the garage crypto idea or some ad hoc thrown together instrument. This is the entire divine plan for humanity, and it is backed by Prime Creator, and God is very real. Nothing stops this, nothing can oppose it, nothing can contest it. The only thing that delays it is the people's choices themselves. And for every day that the people procrastinate and delay on giving this to their people, more and more die. And this is the truth of the matter. So everyone needs, again, to make your choices now and as soon as possible and end this insanity worldwide. People, you are the power, not governments, not military, not police. All of those are employees of you. What are you going to do, people? Are you going to keep those ones that are harming people representing you and in power? Or are you going to stand up and do what is right and save so many lives that are nonsensically dying every day because of stupidity? Thank you.
Okay, so our meeting is already having a little bit more than 1 hour and a half. We know about the span attention for the meetings for the population in these divine times. So if it is a leader, a guardian of GPMS, a representative that wants to speak for today, the time is now. Okay, so we have also the representative, the guardian from India, Aziz. I know that he's not speaking English. I know that there is also concern to come with leaders from India that they will speak English, especially the feminist side. Thank you so much to be with us all the time on the meetings. Unfortunately, when it's coming to the video cannot see you if you have not the video open. So if you are only coming on the meeting, the other people cannot see you, but you are here. So what I would say in these divine times, please become aware the ascension exists, is real. all the population needs to start to be aligned with love, do no harm, universal laws, and this is GPMS. And this is the reason that we are asking consents, because GPMS, it is on the phase one, gather consents, and everything that we try to make to happen, it's to make GPMS viral. As also Rick said, a chain reaction. Then from there, the implementation of universal laws, do no harm starts, and this is coming above all governments, and it is worldwide. It is extremely important for you to start to participate on the meetings and come in touch with GPMS and leaders and from your area or directly with Rick George. So Rick George, it is with us on earth in these divine times with special mission for ascension and also implementation of do no harm law on earth. Yes, Rick.
Oh, thank you, Beatrice. What I wish to say is, anyone, please forgive me for my harsh words. However, it needed to be said, and it needs to be repeated, because it is idiotic for anyone not to see this simple solution, and they need to choose it. I don't mean to demean anyone. However, there are times when the truth needs to be said, and this is one of them. And I speak publicly, worldwide. Anyone can record what I say and what I write. But having said that, if you just take clips from a video, or if you just take out of context some words that I may write, ensure that you give the full story, not a bit. Thank you. And with that, love, light, and gratitude, everyone. I believe we're almost finished for today.
Yeah, just a word to say everything. I really hope that people from the mental health will start to come, and all the people that they try to support other on their invalidity and everything. So it is about the social workers also, that they see all the time that even that they participate with all their heart, they still cannot help other people inside of the system too much. The mental health is, by the end, it's an energetic non-alignment because of the darkness system. So when we correct the system and everything, all these symptoms disappear because the energetics align with love, do no harm, and universal laws. So I invite everyone to participate from the medical with GPMS and start the alignment now. As also Everson is here, he is part of the medical staff, and basically he turned in a very high dimension, and uh, because of his alignment, he is with GPMS in these divine times, and this is extremely important. And we hope that many other from the medical, as doctors and everything, nurses and everything, they may come with GPMS and social workers. So I would say probably this video, if will be seen by the leaders of Canada, this may create a little bit of reaction inside, and we hope that their alignment will come soon. I do not see any kind of the reason for the farmers do not be aligned with do no harm, because do no harm means do not harm the animals, do not harm the planet, do not harm the plants, and do not harm humans. So they are aware of harming, they suffer a lot, they lost their animal, plants, and everything. Right now it is the time to unite on the correct direction. Then we may start from Canada or Alberta or Ontario or whatever might be the place. Thank you so much for everyone that listen our video. Please share the message of divine-gpms.world. Do no harm law implementation, and see you soon, maybe as next week. Thank you so much.
So with that, love and light everyone on Facebook, and we'll end this and you can stop the recording.